Hello, welcome to another Gundam Battle Operation 2 video. That is the Rick Diaz 2, which I didn't know there was a 2, but there is, and it's in the game. And I'm going to be honest with you, dead honest, I almost fell back asleep when I saw it. You know, we're all waiting for something new, and it's like, oh, Rick Diaz 2, okay. No, but it's actually a pretty decent suit. We'll go ahead and go into the stats here, which this is a pretty simple suit, so this video won't be too long, but yeah, 21,000 HP, you got 10 ballistic resistance, but you have 32 beam and melee resistance, so pretty high, 20 range strength, 40 range strength, and then you have, worth mentioning, you have 72 turn speed, which that goes to almost 80 at in space, since it has space priority. And yeah, not too bad. You can definitely make this thing tankier than most. As you can see here, somehow just taking a good chunk of damage, still going strong, trying to chase down the support. Just playing Ring Around the Rosie here. But yeah, we get into the weapons here, which has a small amount of weapons. You have, well, I say small, but the main weapon you can actually switch out for two other weapons. You have the two-barrel Mega Beam Gun prototype, which is basically the double Zeta's gun, but kinda better. I say kinda. It doesn't have as much damage, not nearly as much damage, but utility-wise, uncharged you can stun with it, and then fully charged you can heavy stagger with it. The heavy stagger is really important. Honestly, the way it plays, it almost plays like a Jawash Custom as a raid, or a C1, like the Zeta C1, but as a raid, because of the way this beam rifle is, because they work the same. You know, you can fire off 2 shots before you overheat, since it has such a high heat rate, and then, you know, you're going for your melee or something else to add more damage, and if you do a fully charged attack, you get a heavy stagger, which is pretty much what the C1, the Jawash Custom, does with their beam rifles. But yeah, you probably heard me earlier when it said it doesn't do as much damage. Yeah, it does 1,200 damage. So if you're going to be hitting generals with this, don't expect too much damage. If you're going to be heavy staggering generals, make sure you follow up with your melee, because the melee is way better, damage-wise. But you can, if you want more damage, you can switch this out with the Clay Bazooka, which does 2,300 damage. Then at that point, this suit becomes a typical kind of just stun and hit suit, which can work really well with its later weapons here. Or you can replace it with the Shrapnel Bazooka, which I wouldn't recommend for this suit, because you're going to be fighting a lot of generals to get to a support, and you kind of want to instantly stun the support so you can catch up to them and melee them. Unless you're really I think it takes 2 hits with the Shrapnel Bazooka, a certain amount of pellets, of course, because even if you hit 2, you can miss and it'll still be going. So 2 dead-on shots with a Shrapnel Bazooka will stun somebody, but at that point, just use your beam rifle to hit them directly, or hit near them with a bazooka, and you should be fine anyway. Unless there's something like the Faz or Doven Wolf, which just fully charge your beam rifle and you get a stagger. It goes through shock dampeners, which is really good. And then you have the Rick Diaz 2 Beam Saber, 2,600 damage, so that makes up the beam rifle damage. So if you want to catch the support, do the stagger, then come up and just whack at them with melee. Look at that, 3,000 damage, just a downswing. So you can definitely add up a lot of damage to get supports. And then for secondary weapons, you have the head-mounted Vulcan, the Phalanx, something like that. Which has 115 power and 60 rounds, has some pretty decent range, almost 200, 180 range. Pretty good for just laying down some covering fire. I believe you see me, I think in this match, chase somebody down to get a kill, because I want them dead. Just basic damage, and of course if you're fighting against a shock dampener suit, and you don't have your beam rifle on handy, you know, you can use that to build up a stun. So that could be good. And then you have the knuckle sealant launcher, which if you ever fought a Mark II or a Haiku Shiki, you definitely know what that is. you good for restunning. Pretty much its only purpose. It doesn't work in the water. And I didn't know it had a base damage of 300. Whew. Well, there's that. I don't know if it counts as ballistic or does it count? Yeah, well, I mean, obviously it probably would count as ballistic. It's not really a beam weapon. That'd be fucking terrifying. But yeah, you can use that for a restun, or you can start off your stun with that instead. Just so you can whack some people with your melee. And yeah, that's pretty much it for weapons. Which very basic moveset here, but basic enough to help it out. You're not over encumbered with a bunch of weapons and all that jazz. You're just fine. You have your stun weapon, your melee weapon, and some Vulcans, and another restun option, which is good. And of course, you have some different options of what you want your stun weapon to be. You have the beam rifle, which gives you the heavy stagger, but you do less damage. Or you can use the bazooka, which does more damage, but you don't have a heavy stagger. And then for skills, you have a dodge roll, you have flight control, which flight control, you'll see me use it here in a bit. With its force injectors, you can use that just gliding down, which, speaking of gliding, it's got the glide ability, the level 3 glide, so you fall down slower than most people. So you can definitely use that with your force injectors and your flight control to get somewhere in the middle of the air. It has balancers, of course. Maneuver armor level 2. And then it's got force injectors level 2. And then thrust precision, which I believe is just fancy terms for a double tackle. Which digging around with a teammate there. Was that Honey? Yeah, that was Honey. Which, yeah, if you remember watching my first match with it, not my first match, my just a regular match with this Rick DS2, I accidentally did a tackle, but I saved myself with a secondary tackle to stop the Dryson from doing his downswing on me and murdering me, and my day, at least the rest of it. Oh, and then it has anti-blast stabilizer too. So that means if you get a kill near somebody, you'll be not staggered, which I don't really utilize that too much because I don't play raids too often, so I just stay away from suits if they're going to explode anyway. So, and yeah, there we go. Boosting over here, try and get James. I did get him, but a little bit too late on it. Did try to stun him as soon as he hit the water, but nope. He has maneuver armor. And yeah, that's about it for the Rick DS2, which, yeah, a pretty simple suit to get, but it's a very handy suit. Almost feels like a general in some areas, but no, it's a raid. It feels like a supporting raid, you know. And no, before that, mission failed. Oh man, we'll get him next time, I guess. But hey, top individual score, top damage, almost 4,000 individual. And second place, 6-2, not too bad at all, even though we lost. Yeah, the Rick DS2. Again, pretty simple suit. I think it can work pretty well as a supporting raid, especially with that heavy stagger. I imagine you can do some dirty things with it in the Palace Athene or another Bawu if for some reason you're doubling up as raids. Which, 600, 650, whew. I can even see this thing being useful in 650 against suits like the Dovenwolf or the Faz. Just the heavy stagger is useful. It can also break maneuver armor, and there's a lot of suits at higher cost to have maneuver armor, so you can use that to your advantage. Pretty much, it has enough to warrant it being a 2-star, but it doesn't have too much for it to be a 3-star, which I'm fine with. Although I'd rather prefer to use suits like the Bawu or the I almost said the Dryson. Can't believe I'm forgetting it. The Humbrabi. There we go, the Humbrabi. I'd rather use those two suits. They got stuff that pertains more to my style. how I want to play raids, especially the Babu. But the suit's not half bad. It's a pretty decent suit. If you don't have a 3-star raid, or you're looking to switch things up, you want something with a heavy stagger, this is definitely a suit for you to get. And of course, like I said, it plays a little bit like a general, so there's not too many weird gameplay choices, like decision making here. You can just get a stun off going for melee. If you play this game, you know how it goes. And this suit can do that pretty well. And yeah, with that, that'll be in the video. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you want. I'd really appreciate it. And type up in the comment section what you feel about the Rick DS2. Do you like it? Do you hate it? I like it. It's just not going to be a raid I'm going to be sticking to for the most part. I already have raids I want to go to, and I don't really pick raids too much anyway, so there's that. But I can definitely see it being useful for some people that want that heavy stagger, or just a general kind of raid, maybe a supporting raid. Again, I think this thing can do some dirty stuff with stuff like the Palace Athene or a Babu, or just really any other suit. It's definitely, the way its skill set is, it would be really useful in space. I think I have played in space, but because of some teammates, I'm like, oh man, I don't want to go to space anymore. But yeah, if you're gonna do space and you need a raid, this would be a pretty good raid for you to play. And yeah, with that, I will see you guys later. Bye.